Hello everybody, Caveman TCG bringing you an update to my Despia Albaz branded deck profile. Thanks to Albaz Strike and getting cards like Branded Fusion, Springin's Kit, I feel that this deck has become better. Um, Next to my previous build, this deck has basically taken a 180 turn. I feel that this deck is more competitive. The last deck profile I made was more fun build, but I kind of built this version to be a little more competitive. Now this deck profile doesn't run DP engine or the Brave token engine, but I will show you some cards that you can take out to maybe add those in. But I'm not gonna go too much into detail. Like I said, I've done a deck profile on these cards already, and I explained what they do in detail. And if I come through some cards that I have not, I will take my time and I will explain those. But let's just get on to the deck profile. So I've updated Despia deck. Of course, we're gonna run 3 Aluber. This is our main searcher for our branded spells and traps. Now you're gonna be basically summoning him out and taking a Brandon Fusion. There's a 1.5 card combo with him that allows you getting 2 interruptions. A draw 1, pop 2, no, pop 1, draw 2, and you can still use the Fusion Monsters effect to banish another card. But play 3 of them. I also like to play 3 Tragedy. Tragedy is good. You can cut this down to 2 to implement your cards. If you want to implement more cards like the Destiny Hero card, you can cut one of these down and put one of those in there. I play the 1 Dramaturge. Back in the other deck profile, I said that this card was better than Abliptum. But in this deck profile, it seems like we're using Abliptum more and Dramaturge barely comes up. But we still play one of them because summoning him when you fusion out the combo, you can still get another body on the board. Also play the 1 Abliptum. This card is going to help us basically bring out our Mirror Jade from the graveyard once we use him as a fusion summon. So this card's coming up more and more and more now. I think he's still good at 1. I don't think I would run him at 2, but he's good. A newly entry to the deck, Despia Comedy. I didn't really like comedy so much, but when you're trying to use Oliver's effect to search for Brandon, you have this card in your hand, you can basically guarantee your search. Now, I still play 3 Fallen Albaz. You can actually cut this down to 2 to supplement the more cards for the DP engine or for the Brave token. This is our Super Poly on legs. So, it's nice to have. And also, too, with the Branded Fusion, running him at 2, you can also just reshuffle him back into the deck, so you're always going to have him available. I play 2 Springin's Kit, another, just like a Luber, but instead of it being a 1.5, you actually need the other one to basically shuffle back into the deck. Still a good card. If you don't get a Luber in your hand, you get this one. You bring the same effects. You can bring out your Branded Fusion. Play the 1 Tri Brigade Mercurier. While you control a fusion monster, you can, deactivate a monster effect. You can just pitch that out and negate it. Play the 1 Albion Shot of Dragon to dump those trap cards, those branded trap cards to our graveyard. Draw 1. There's also a Fallen Albaz in your graveyard. play two kaijus. Get over their big monsters. You have the light kaiju for Albion and the dark kaiju for Lubellion. I play the one Ghost Bell and the one Ash. Ghost Bell will be good in the mirror match, especially if they're using Brandon and Red. But I'm playing the 1-in-1 ratio. I know you should probably play more, but usually I'm playing the 1-in-1 ratio because this is cross out designated targets. And I played the Edge Imp package. Now, the Edge Imp package contains 4 cards. You can basically take these 4 cards for the DP engine. So you'll take out these 2, the Poly, the Patchwork, and you can put in your 2 monsters, your Destiny Fusion, and an extra deck. Take 1 monster out and you can run those. But the Edge Imp chain, in this deck you can just get card advantage or another monster to fuse off. When this card goes to the graveyard from your hand or the field, you can basically you can add a Pfeiffer card to your hand. So, if you discard it for a brand new opening, you basically can pop his effect off and search a Pfeiffer card. Now we go into the spells. The main card that made this deck better, Branded Fusion. You always want to search this with your Aluber or your kit. This card is gonna start off your main combos. If it gets Ash, it does get hurt, so you have to prepare for that. You have to run cards to protect yourself from being ashed. Also play the 3 Brandon in Red. There's another card you can run at 2, so you can implement other cards in here. But I want to see this card in my hand, so I don't have to really search it with Albion. But this card, it's also a main card in the combo where you are basically going to be summoning Chimera out, popping 1 or popping 2, draw 2 or draw 1, depending on which one you use more. But I find myself going into back to back to back. One turn use one, next turn use another one. So I want to see 3. I don't want to have this card, running out of it. But there's multiple ways to put this card back in your deck. Next, I play.
What do you want me to play?
Oh. Don't mind my Alexa. I played 3 Branded Opening. Ever since Branded Fusion, this card seems to be not as great as it was anymore. This is not your combo starter no more. It's still a good card, but Branded Fusion more took over. This is also still good to use your Edge Imp to pop its to get its effects or your tragedy. Also, I don't know if I ever said this though. This card has protection for your fusion monsters. So if they try to destroy your fusion monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard to protect them instead. I play the 1 Theater. This is my field spell that helps us fusion out our level 8 monsters, so that on our turn we can get our Despia and Cordyceps out or our Masquerade Dragon out. And if you have Ad Libitum on the field or Dramaturge and they're removed from the field, you can actually special summon a fusion monster from your graveyard. Play the 1 Branded in White, another card you can take out. But I'm using this for just to have more polys in this deck so I can get into my other Despia cards. Basically, it's for Cordyceps or Masquerade. The 1 Branded Lost is our Magical Meltdown. And when you fusion, basically, you can actually search a monster that mentions Albaz from your deck to your hand or Albaz itself. Play the 1 Call by the Grave. We do not want to be hit by Ash. We don't want our branded fusions to be stopped, or we don't want to be hit by a bell either. Ash Blossom is going to hit your branded fusion, and Ghost Bell is going to hit your branded in red. So I play two crossout designators for the same thing. I don't want my cards to be hit. I'm thinking about bumping this to three. Two is good for now, but I think three would be better. So you can actually, guarantee your card's protection. Seeing this more. I play Super Poly. Um, Most likely your opponent's gonna be playing this card too. So they super poly your stuff away. You can come back and super poly their stuff away, or other boards, or any other monsters they have in the field that require that meet the card's requirements. So another like part of the patchwork, the Edge Imp Frightford package. The Frightford patchwork is going to basically get you another Edge Imp. So once that Edge Imp hits the graveyard, the Edge Imp searches your Frightford patchwork. Then your Frightford patchwork will search a Poly and another Edge Imp. Let me it's Poly. Works good with Chimera, so he can't be targeted while Poly's in the graveyard. For our traps, I play the one Infinite Permanence. Again, another thing for Crossout Designator. You can run more. I think two may be the better number, or even three. Play the one Branded Retribution. This is usually a card that I'm gonna dump into the graveyard while I'll be on the Shrouded Dragon. But if your opponent goes to activate a magic spell, a spell or trap or monster effect that's gonna special summon a monster, you can basically return one extra deck monster, fusion monster from your field, or two from your graveyard back into the extra deck. And when this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it and just target one of your branded spells and traps in your graveyard to return it to your hand. Another one of the branded sword, doesn't come up too much often where you can use this as a trap. Banishing the branded spells and traps from your graveyard to get the tokens to your field. Every token is going to have 25 attack, 2000 defense. That rarely comes up. It can come up because we are running through our branded cards, our branded in red, our branded fusion, our branded opening. So there is a chance for you to get maybe 3 to 4 tokens to hit them hard. But a lot of times we're just gonna use Albion or dish this card to the graveyard, so we can have the banish effect, where we can basically get back a fallen Albaz or a monster that mentions fallen Albaz back to our hand. Then I play the extra deck. This extra deck can be molded to really how much you want it. But for now, I'm playing the two Mirror Jade Ice Blade Dragon. This is the card that you wanna have in your field. You want to keep him out there. You want to keep bringing him back. He has a once per turn. I don't believe it's a hard once per turn, but if he could be on the field, you dump one card from your extra deck to the graveyard. You could banish one monster in the field. There are going to be times where you can use him as a polymerization material. Bring him to the graveyard. If you do it with Abliptum, you can summon him back and still use the effect again. At least that's what I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. And if he's destroyed or removed from the field by your opponent's card effect, at the end of the turn, you can just basically nuke their board. I play 2 Lebellion. I don't think you need to play 2, because a lot of times we're using his effect to shuffle himself back into the graveyard. So a lot of times fusion, branded fusion, you're gonna send your Albaz and a Tragedy to the graveyard, summon him out, use his effect, discard a card, put back one of your fallen Albaz and him into the extra deck, and bring out your Mirror Jade. But don't forget to activate your Tragedies effect to get Uplift. Now, when you bring him out, you basically banish the Albaz that brought you the fusion, branded fusion. Uh, Doing that, you have to discard the Albion from your extra deck to the graveyard. At the end of the turn, you will set Brandon in red because of Albion's effect. Go into their turn, you'll have the Mirror Jade on the field, and basically you could just interrupt them by using Brandon in red. Bring back the Tragedy if you have another monster in your hand, which you most likely you will, because you have the Abliptum. Use the Abliptum, the Tragedy, and your Mirror Jade to bring out Chimera. Pop one, draw two. Your Abliptum's gonna effect off and summon back your your Mirror Jade. So not only are you gonna have Mirror Jade back in the field with a brand new effect that you can banish again. So not only the Chimera is gonna pop one card in the field, you'll bring back that Mirror Jade, and that Mirror Jade will have his banish effect again. Kind of went off in there. I do play 3 Albion. Um, I find in this build I summon him less. Most likely I'm dumping him from the extra deck to the graveyard with Mirror Jade. That's why I play 3 of them. You can re-put him back into the deck with Lubellion, but I just want to keep sending him, and keep setting those branded spells and traps. Play 2 Masquerade, the Blazing Dragon. I do running polymerization. I am running the theater branded, the theater of the branded and Brandon and White to summon the Blazing Dragon. This card is basically going to tell your opponent that, hey, no matter what happens, any effect, any card they activate, they got to pay 600. And if you have 2 on the field, they got to pay 1200. So, it adds up. I played the 1 Despia and Quartus. This card, and like I said, same thing with Masquerade, how you going to summon him. This card basically is going to bring all your opponent's every monster on the board that's not level 8 fusion or higher to 0. And when this card leaves the field because of opponent's card effect, you can basically add to your hand or special summon 1 Fallen Albaz or 1 Despia monster from your deck. Like for the super poly targets or for the Albaz summon targets, you have the Tiny Clad Ash Dragon for monsters that have 25 more attack. Your Brigade for monsters that have a level 8 or higher. I play 2 Guardian Chimeras. It's gonna be turn 2, turn 3, where you're gonna basically bringing these 2 out. You can run 1, but I think 2 is a better number because, like I said, you will be bringing these 2 out. And with Lubellion, actually, you can actually shuffle 1 of these back into the deck to use again. So, this card's amazing. It's great. Sometimes at the end of turn 2, turn 3, you'll be having 6 to 7 cards in your hand because of all the draws. And the effects from the Despia monsters like Tragedy. And I use the 1 Predator Plant Dragostelio. Basically, it's one of our what's that called? Ultra polymerization targets. So, if you run out of other things. So, thank you for watching my updated branded Despia deck profile, and I'll see you again.